Alexa, play the GOAT.
Was Jesus a Palestinian? Throw the whole speeches away. What are we doing in 2009? Really? Alright. Why would Congresswoman Ilhan Omar care? Really, a Congresswoman is saying? That's a good question, though. I mean, not the first part. The last part. The first part, which is nonsense. I can answer this off the rip. No, he wasn't a Palestinian. All it takes is a quick Google. Palestinians didn't even exist in the first century. How could Jesus be Palestinian? Jesus was born in the first century. The Muslim Arabs didn't conquer Palestine until the 7th century. Yes, conquer. You know that thing that Columbus did. Columbus and the white people. The thing they did that everyone hates so much. But I guess we're giving it the pass here. But whatever. These are questions that Rabbi Abram Cooper, Associate Dean and Director of Global Social Action Agenda for the Simon Wiesenthal Center, asked this week. I'm glad that someone's asking the real questions. These are questions that Rabbi Abram Cooper, Associate Dean and Director of Global Social Action Agenda for the Simon Wiesenthal Center, in case you forgot, asked this week after the Congresswoman retweeted a New York Times op-ed by Eric B. Kopich, which claimed that Jesus, born in Bethlehem, was most likely a Palestinian man with dark skin. The writer was explaining why Jesus is so often illustrated as a white man with blue eyes. Well, he definitely wasn't a white man with blue eyes, but he definitely wasn't a Palestinian. To make it clear, to be a Palestinian, you need to be a native Arab of Palestine. And like I said, since the Muslims didn't conquer Palestine until the 7th century, in what frame could Jesus possibly be Palestinian? They didn't exist in the 1st century. But Cooper contends that Omar likely had another agenda in sharing the article, which he did with the following message: "Don't they, Christians, know Jesus was a Palestinian?" Come on. No, we don't know that. Because it's not, no one knows that. No. There's just a few things in this world, whether you're secular or non-secular, there's a few things historians are super sure of. Being the existence of Jesus, when he was born, and he lived until somewhere roughly around 33 to 36. Most historians, again, secular or non-secular, can agree on this. So I don't know why it only takes a Google search. Come on, you're not going to get us with these alternative facts. The claim that Jesus was a Palestinian is so bizarre that the question becomes, what one gains by making that allegation? Cooper told the Jerusalem Post. For people who have no theological or historical rooting, the idea that Jesus was a Palestinian creates a new narrative for the Palestinian history, which otherwise does not date back very far. If one can say that Jesus was Palestinian 2,000 years ago, then that means the Jews are occupying Palestinian land. Cooper said that for people who don't like Jews to begin with, Ilhan Omar, it is a deadly combination of the Jews killed Jesus and now they are doing the same to his progeny. He continued. Like, it is a really weird statement. Like, what's he trying to say? like I said, you can easily Google. You can Google, like, when did Muslims conquer Palestine? And it'll tell you the 7th century. So are they trying to, like, say that they've always been there, they're descendants of Jesus? Like, what are they saying? Because that's an easy Google check. From a political and propaganda point of view, there is something to be gained. The myth that Jesus was a Palestinian dates back to the days of Yasser Arafat, when his trusted Christian Palestinian advisor Hanan Ashrawi made the claim. I definitely did not pronounce that name right. Since then, the idea resurfaces now and again, according to Cooper. The absurdity of it is breathtaking. Cooper said of Jesus being a Palestinian. I swear. This sounds like some stupid fan fiction. Like alternative universe. What if Jesus was a Palestinian? Face ass. The absurdity of it is breathtaking. Cooper said of Jesus being a Palestinian. Jesus was born in Bethlehem. Think about who his parents were. Come on, the Muslims can't. The Muslims don't even. The Quran couldn't even get who his parents was. Confused Mary with another Mary. Come on, You're not. This is gonna go over their head. His mother, Mary, was betrothed to Joseph, a carpenter. In the Gospels, there is no mention of Palestine, only Judea, which is where the Jews lived. Again, they got the alternative facts. They couldn't even get Jesus' mother's name right. In the Quran, they think the Christians think the Holy Trinity is Mary, God, and Jesus. Like, come on. Cooper said that if the Palestinians admit that Jesus was a Jew, then the ideal that Jews only arrived in Israel in 1948 and occupied Palestinian indigenous land becomes an absurdity. I mean, they don't need to admit nothing. No one's sitting here disagreeing that the Jews weren't already in that land, except for people trying to rewrite history. He said Omar knows this narrative is false, but also that it is an inherent power to it, said Cooper. The Benjamins, the big lie of dual loyalty. Jesus is a Palestinian. It is all rewriting history to plant in people's minds that the Palestinian people go back thousands of years. She's a very clear person. Cooper continued. Ilhan Omar is a very clever anti-Semite. So truth does not play much of a role anyways. And when does it ever? He added that when an elected member of the U.S. Congress retweets such a thing, that takes things to the next level. Some people came out in defense of Omar, such as American Muslim scholar, civil rights activist, writer, and speaker Omar Suleiman. I think that's the guy that she retweeted too. He tweeted a speech by American Protestant minister William J. Barber too, who likewise made the claim Jesus is a brown-skinned Palestinian Jew. They're just making up stuff now. They're just making up phrases. I know what they're trying to do too. There's another narrative to this, and called out the misplaced hate directed at Omar. Cooper said he was surprised the New York Times allowed Kopich to publish an op-ed with such a line, and expected such information only to be shared on a platform like Facebook and Twitter, where users can get away with much more before it's identified, if it is ever identified as fake news. But I want to go over the actual tweet she retweeted, because there's another narrative to why they're doing this. Okay, so I was once asked by a relative who is a Palestinian Christian why the Christian right in America largely supports their oppression. First off, don't generalize Christians or even the Christian right, because ain't no one doing anything to anyone in America. In America, you can come here, have freedom of religion, and freedom to even spew dumb lies like this, that Jesus is Palestinian. Now, but we're not the ones killing or enslaving people like the Muslims are doing in Libya and Nigeria. They're out here enslaving black people, killing Christians, and talking about in America we're supporting their oppression. What do we do in America to y'all? Stop that nonsense. Don't they know we're Christian too? No, you're not Christian. See, this is what they're trying to do when creating terms like Palestinian Jew, trying to say they're Christian too. No, you're not. They're trying to create a one religion type deal. But the thing is, to be Christian, there's a few requirements. You have to believe in Jesus, believe he's Lord, believe he died for your sins, and that he rose again. That's it. And Muslims do not believe that. They don't believe that Jesus is Lord. They say that they don't believe he died on the cross, because they say that Allah saved him at the last moment for whatever reason. So, no, you're not Christians if you don't believe. Those are the two most important fundamentals of being Christian. In the Christian religion, those two things determine whether or not you go to heaven or hell. So how are you Christian? Like those are the two talking points you can't debate. You can't say you're Christian just because you also believe it. Most people believe Jesus exists. Do you believe he's Lord? Do you believe he died and rose for your sins? If not, then no, you're not Christian. Do they even consider us human? Do y'all consider the Christians who were being killed by Muslims? Do you consider them human? Do you consider the black people y'all are enslaving? Do y'all consider them human? Don't they know Jesus was a Palestinian? No, we don't know that. The day before the tweet, the New York Times op-ed claimed Jesus born in Bethlehem was most likely a Palestinian man with dark skin. Again, based off of what? They keep just saying stuff. That's pretty much Islam in a nutshell. They just say stuff. Cooper accused the New York Times of fake news and said they both are trying to rewrite history with the claim. Palestine was a name made up by Romans after they crucified thousands, destroying the Holy Temple in Jerusalem and exiled the people of Israel from their homeland. Cooper told the Jewish Journal. The account for students supporting Israel said, "Is it for real? Jesus was a Jew. What's next? The Pope is also Palestinian, right? You know, what the Jews should do is say Muhammad was Jewish. Wait, let's not do that. No, they probably don't even want Muhammad. No one besides them wants Muhammad. So I can see why they want Jesus though, but ain't no one trying to claim Muhammad. Y'all can keep that one. The New York Times and Omar are not the first to make that claim. Jeremy Wright, the controversial pastor who preached at the Chicago church attended by President Barack Obama, claimed Jesus was a Palestinian years ago at a Nation of Islam event. Of course, Barack Obama was there. The same person who refused to acknowledge the Christians who suffered from the Sri Lanka event as Christians. He kept referring to them as Easter worshippers, along with other Democrats. Because I guess if they use the word Christians, they'll burn up inside or something. Because look at this. The attacks on tourists and Easter worshippers in Sri Lanka. Easter worshippers and travelers in Sri Lanka. She mixed it up. At least she didn't say tourists. All the rest of them say tourists. Easter worshippers and tourists in Sri Lanka. Tourists and Easter worshippers in Sri Lanka. You think we ain't going to catch that just because you switched it up a little bit? Come on, Jared. We're on to y'all. They got an agenda. This proves it right here. You don't think these Democrats don't have an agenda? That's why I don't support them. They all have to have the same views, otherwise they're not getting anywhere. And that's what brings me to the next article. If the thing will even load up. Booker, Trump, and others' criticism of Omar trafficking in Islamophobia. Yep, that's where we're all with it. If you criticize or have any criticism for a person who's Muslim, it's Islamophobia, and you're trafficking in hate or violence. Meanwhile, she can say whatever she wants about the Jews. She can say that they have the world in a mind control. I've met Senator Cory Booker actually recently, in church. Ironically enough, he seemed like a nice enough guy. But of course, he's a politician. Of course, he's gonna seem nice because he's trying to get our votes. But this is why I don't trust politicians. This is why any politician that claims to be Christian, I'm very wary of them, because no true Christian is getting very far in politics. I'll tell you that right now, and this just proves it. Senator Cory Booker said Wednesday that criticisms of Rep. Ilhan Omar from President Trump and her other critics are trafficking in Islamophobia. Is she trafficking in anti-Semitism? Or we're just going to ignore that. The criticism of Congresswoman Omar, what Donald Trump has been saying about her is reprehensible. It is trafficking in Islamophobia and it should be condemned by everyone. Booker, a 2020 presidential candidate, said at Wednesday She the People Presidential Forum in Texas. This kind of selective condemnation should be a chorus of people condemning. And more than this, the kind of language our president uses, especially about black women in power, it is toxic. So if he used that language towards a white person in power, it'd be better. Like, what? Ain't get far, and he's already trying to pull out the race card. He continued, it feels the kind of hate we see in our communities manifesting itself in the kind of terrorism that has been seen in our nation since 9/11. Or as Ilhan Omar would refer to it, something that happened somewhere. But it's like you're talking about 9/11, an event orchestrated by Muslims against America. Like, maybe I'm missing something. Booker's remarks came in response to a question about criticism and death threats Omar said she has faced in recent months as she has continued to be a target of conservatives. Yes, I'm sure she's the only politician who's ever got a death threat, especially in this era. All it takes is one tweet. Niggas got all kinds of characters to use on Twitter now. Like, come on, it comes with the territory. Omar, one of the first Muslim congresswomen, first sparked criticism for questioning the American Israel Public Affairs Committee influence on foreign policies. Some accused the comments of being anti-Semitic, and they prompted the passage of the House resolution condemning hate in all forms. No, but the thing is, she can be critical of whatever to the point where it's almost I'm not even gonna say almost anti. It's pretty much anti-Semitic. She clearly doesn't like Jews. But the second you criticize her on, downplaying 9/11, being anti-Semitic, now you're Islamophobic. But she can criticize whatever she wants. See, this is why I don't like politicians. They're biased, and of course he has to defend her, even though she's blaspheming against his religion. Because I know Senator Cory Booker is a Christian, so she's blaspheming against her religion. But you have to defend her because you need the Muslim votes. The freshman congresswoman said earlier this month that she received an increased number of death threats since President Trump shared an edited video on Twitter that featured images of 9/11 terrorist attack with Omar's comments spliced in between. So what? I'm sure Donald Trump's gotten a lot of death threats because of the continued criticism everyone gives him. Are you not allowed to criticize anyone anymore because some idiot somewhere might threaten this person? Like, come on. But again, these people, all they do is play victim cards. They're always the victim, to the point where you can't even have an opinion. They weaponize victimhood so well that they'll say anything now. They have no fear. They'll say anything, like Jesus is a Palestinian man. Omar, speaking at the Council on American Islamic Relations last month, said some people did something in reference to the 9/11 attacks before explaining that some used the attack to advocate for taking away civil liberties from Muslim Americans, the same way y'all used the mosque attack to take away the freedom of speech of some people who are critical of Islam. But I guess only these people can weaponize victimhood. Soon after those comments were shared by conservative commentators, Trump tweeted a video of the comments spliced over the images and videos from 9/11, suggesting Omar was minimizing what happened. She was. That's valid criticism. Sorry, I may not be the biggest fan of Trump, admittedly, but I'm not going to pretend he's always wrong, because then that'll lead me to siding with a woman who's blaspheming my religion. And I'm Christian before I'm anything. Before whatever party I am, before whatever race I am, before whatever gender I am. So that's all that is. But yeah, to put it lightly, no, Jesus isn't Palestinian. He's your Lord and Savior. So repent.